Y'all know what it is. It's the usual suspect 650-50 draw. Buy your tickets now for your chance at winning half the pot. Cash App, $ usual 50-50. Tickets are on sale for $10 for one, $20 for 3 tickets, and $50 for 10 tickets. Put your desired amount, name or alias, as well as your email address, and your tickets will be sent. We announce the winning ticket numbers every other Friday on Supreme Beats Boxing Talk Bullshit on the Beltway, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Remaining proceeds will go directly to the LDBC meet and greet in Las Vegas. Shout out to the LDBC, and remember,
it's a usual suspect day.
Y'all know what it is. It's the Find the Boxer game. Purchase a box for a chance at winning $500. One of 54 boxes has the missing boxer inside. Purchase your box or boxes by Cash Apping $ usual 50-50. Include your box number, name, and email address. Your box number will be confirmed and sent directly to your email. Each box is $20 with a 1 in 54 chance of winning. Remaining proceeds will go directly to the LDBC meet and greet in Las Vegas. Shout out to the LDBC, and remember,
it's a usual suspect day.
best grooming products for you, just so natural and handcrafted too. We wanna help be your swagger, style, class, and luxury. We make our products tailor-made for you with high quality. Yeah. So get in style with the black, yeah. Grooming company, to give you swagger, style, class, and luxury. In luxury, yeah. The black gentleman, yeah. Company, to give you swagger, style, class, and luxury. In luxury, yeah.
Located at www.theblackgent.com.
Yo. What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back. Welcoming you to Nerds on Culture with Stormybman for this Monday, June 30th, 2025. This is number 125 in the series of Nerds. And this evening we are featuring a classic out of the sci-fi horror genre, Alien, the 1979 film that spawned a myriad of sequels. And the first film was so out there that even the follow-ups left a lot to be desired, meaning how to explain these creatures that this crew of 7 encountered in the original film. So we're going to talk about that a little bit this evening, and we'll look to see if any of you in the chat have had the pleasure of taking in the original film. There are some old familiar faces that were a part of the cast of the original outing, namely Sigourney Weaver. She was someone who, at the time that this film was made, was coming into her own as an actress, and she joined a cast of fellow co-stars Tom Skerritt, Veronica Cartwright, Harry Dean Stanton, John Hurt, Ian Holm, and Yaphet Kotto. All of these actors were coming into their own back in 1979. This film is special because you have to understand that there were a number of sci-fi films, Close Encounters, Star Wars, films that just kind of took audiences to outer space with newly defined special effects and visuals. But at the heart of it is a story by Dan O'Bannon and directed by Ridley Scott. Many of you may be familiar with Ridley Scott. One of my favorite films directed by Ridley Scott was Gladiator with Russell Crowe, but he has done far more films. But this was sort of throwing his hat into the sci-fi arena. As I stated earlier, the film was released in 1979, May 25th to be exact. So it was a summer release by 20th Century Fox. The film had a budget of $8.4 to $14 million, but it ended up taking in $188 million. So it's fair to say that this film was successful. So as we go into a little information and background on Alien, a science fiction horror film directed by Ridley Scott, and as I stated earlier, written by Dan O'Bannon, based on a story by O'Bannon and Robert Shusett. It follows a spaceship crew who investigate a derelict spaceship and are hunted by a deadly extraterrestrial creature. This film was produced by Gordon Carroll, David Giller, and Walter Hill through their company, Brandywine Productions, distributed by 20th Century Fox. The alien creatures and environments were designed by Swiss artist H.R. Geiger, with concept artist Ron Cobb and Chris Foss designed the other sets. One of the things that stood out about the alien beings in this film was the fact that they looked like a hybrid of many creatures, organic, amphibious, and arachnid, all rolled into one. Because if you look at the sea life, the marine life, stingrays, octopus, jellyfish, these films and the creatures that haunted us from them kind of give way to that. They require a host that they gravitate toward, and in a human host, they seek to attack the face and wrap themselves around the face. And they implant a creature inside of the human host body, which will produce another creature coming out of the host's body. This crew that were on that investigation about that starship, they happened upon an environment that looked like it became the domain of these creatures. But they didn't discover the creatures right away. They only discovered what appeared to be one of the creature's first prey. And that's where the film gets very interesting. As the plot goes, the commercial space tug Nostromo is returning to Earth with a 7-member crew in stasis, which is suspended animation. Captain Dallas, Officer Kane, Warrant Officer Ripley, Navigator Lambert, Science Officer Ash, and Engineers Parker and Brett. The ship's computer mother detects a transmission from a nearby planetoid and awakens the crew. Following company policy to investigate transmissions indicating intelligent life, they land on the surface, but the ship is damaged. Dallas, Kane, and Lambert discover the transmission comes from a derelict alien spaceship. Inside is a large, mummified alien corpse with a hole in its torso. Later, Mother partially deciphers the transmission, which Ripley determines a warning beacon and is not a SOS as originally thought. When this film came out, you have to understand that audiences had little to go on except for the old sci-fi films from the late 50s It came from outer space and Invasion of the Body Snatchers and films such as that. So when this film was produced, and like I said, with the visual effects and the settings, the environments that were created, it really took us to a different place, a la Star Wars. But this was not an adventure. This was sci-fi horror, and it hadn't been done yet at that time. This was a groundbreaking film. It introduced audiences to whatever was going on for the first time. You see, because now we've seen several of the sequels, and we've had films that were copycats, as well as films that stole ideas from this original concept. But it was a first-time experience, and you have to try to put yourself in that seat, seeing something for the first time go down like this. That alien mummified body, which was almost gigantic, right? It was like a giant. If you want to take it back to biblical, you could say it was like a Nephilim, a huge beast or being. But it had a hole in its torso. What caused that hole? As the crew began to investigate further, Cain enters a chamber containing hundreds of large eggs. When he touches one, a spider-like creature springs out, penetrates his helmet, and attaches to his face. Dallas and Lambert carry the unconscious Cain back to Nostromo, their ship, where Ridley refuses to allow them aboard, citing quarantine regulations. But Ash overrides her. While Parker and Brett work on ship repairs, Ash attempts to remove the creature from Cain's face. He stops when he discovers that its highly corrosive acidic blood could harm Cain and potentially damage the ship's hull. The creature eventually detaches itself and dies. After the crew returns to space, Cain awakens and seems well. During a final crew meal before returning to stasis, he suddenly chokes and convulses. A small alien creature bursts from his chest, killing him, and escapes into the ship. Now remember, the mummified alien being that they had discovered in that ship that they were investigating, something had burst through his chest. This became immediately one of the most creepiest things, because the scene where the creature comes out of the chest of Cain is one of the most graphic and psychologically disturbing moments. It's the creature burst through his chest and was looking around and screaming at the same time, like a baby, newborn. And the crew was freaking out. They was like, what the hell is that? You know, oh my goodness, man. This was one of those moments, man. Like I said, for the first time seeing this film, it would have freaked you out totally. Freaked you out. And just to put an image up there on the screen to remind you what that creature looked like on Cain's face, just take a look at that, man. What the devil? That is like, is that gross or what, man? That is just like, my goodness. That is, oh my God, man. But you see where I talk about octopus like and arachnid as well. You know, arachnid is spider, you know, jellyfish, amphibious, like a creature from the sea, you know. I remember when I saw this film for the first time, I wasn't digging it. Yeah, it was like too creepy for me. It was a little talky for me as well because it had great dialogue. You know, the people discussing their lives and what was going on. It was like one of the most, you know, as a young kid catching this after watching films like Superman and Star Wars, I'm expecting that type of action. But no, this was something really different, man. And it was psychological too, because we did not know. And still, to this day, we don't know what those things are. Yeah. But it was a moment that was historic in cinematic history. Yeah. Yeah. This is a shot of that alien creature where it was mummified and something had burst through its chest. Now just imagine, because that alien creature there in his, I guess you would call it his cockpit of his ship, he's much more of a giant than a average human. So whatever attached itself to his face and burst through his chest has to be the most gigantic of alien creatures that we had seen, because the ones that attacked the humans, you know, you could possibly say they were smaller. But yeah, young Hollywood, they became known as the engineers. Yeah. But my goodness, man, this movie was a head trip, bro. You had to really pay attention to what was going on. Kondo, what's good with you? He says, I was born in 76. Gotta find this movie and watch. Yeah, you do. The original, man. Because it's easy to go and talk about the sequels, but you got to talk about what kicked everything off, man. And I have to tell you, that crew, they were a happy bunch, you know, but as here you see this still shot where they all look like they need to change their underwear, because this is after the beast bust through Kane's chest and ran through the ship. And now they got to find out what the hell was that came out of Kane's chest. And we got to figure out how to get it off of our ship. This was amazing. And I mean, if you look at the facial expressions of each and every one of this crew, man. Boy. But let me go on about the story. After ejecting Kane's body into space, see ya. The crew utilizes tracking devices to try to locate and kill the creature. Brett follows the ship's cat, Jones, into a landing leg compartment where the now fully grown alien kills Brett. It is determined that the alien is using the air ducts. Dallas enters one with a flamethrower to force the creature into an airlock, but it kills him. Lambert suggests that fleeing in the small shuttle, but it will not support 4 people. Ripley, now in command, decides they will flush out the alien. While accessing Mother, the computer, Ripley discovers that the company secretly ordered Ash to return with the alien for study and to deem the crew expendable. She confronts Ash, who attempts to kill her. Parker intervenes, knocking Ash's head loose, revealing him to be an android. Wow. The survivors reactivate Ash's head and confirms the company's order. Ash states that the alien cannot be killed and expresses admiration for it, taunting them about their chances of survival. Ripley shuts Ash down and Parker incinerates him. The crew decides to self-destruct the Nostromo and escape in the shuttle. The alien kills Parker and Lambert as they gather supplies. Now alone, Ripley initiates the ship's self-destruct sequence, but the alien blocks her path to the shuttle. She retreats and unsuccessfully attempts to abort the self-destruct. She reaches the shuttle with Jones, narrowly escaping as the Nostromo explodes. As Ripley prepares for stasis, she discovers the alien has stowed itself in a narrow compartment. She dons a spacesuit, loads a grappling hook gun, and uses steam vents to drive the alien out of its hiding place. Just as it's about to attack her, Ripley opens the shuttle door, blasting the creature out, but it manages to hang on to the door frame. She shoots the alien with the grappling gun, knocking it into space, but the grappling gun is caught in the door when it closes, pulling the alien back to the shuttle. The creature attempts to re-enter the ship through the engine housing, prompting Ridley to activate the engines, blasting the alien into deep space. After recording her final log entry, she places Jones and herself into stasis for their return to Earth. Man, this movie was just, oh my goodness. What a time. What a time. When you think about the sequels, the success of Alien led 20th Century Fox to finance 3 direct sequels over the next 18 years, each by different writers and directors. Sigourney Weaver remained the only recurring actor through all 4 films. The story of her character, Ripley's encounters with the aliens, became the thematic and narrative of the core of the series. James Cameron's Aliens in 1986 focused more on action and involved Ripley returning to the planetoid accompanied by Marines to confront hordes of aliens. David Fincher's Alien 3 from 1992 had a nihilistic tone and found her on a prison planet battling another alien ultimately sacrificing herself to prevent her employers from acquiring the creatures. Jean-Pierre Journet's Alien Resurrection from 1997 saw Ripley resurrected through cloning to battle more aliens even further in the future. The success of the film series resulted in the creation of a media franchise with numerous novels, comic books, video games, toys, and other media, and merchandise appearing over the years. A number of these began appearing under the Alien vs. Predator crossover imprint, which brought the alien creatures together with the eponymous characters of the Predator franchise. A film series followed with Alien vs. Predator in 2004 and Aliens vs. Predator Requiem in 2007. Sigourney Weaver has expressed interest in reuniting with Ridley Scott to revive her character for another Alien film. In the 2003 commentary track for the Alien DVD included in the Alien quadrilogy set, she and Scott both speculated on the possibility, with Weaver stating, "This is an appetite for a fifth one. There is an appetite for a fifth one, which is something I never expected. It's hard to come up with a fifth story that's new and fresh, but I have wanted to go back into space. I think outer space adventure is a good thing for us right now because Earth is so grim. So we've been talking about it, but very generally." Scott remarked that if the series were to continue, the most logical course would be to explain and explore the origins of the space jockey and the aliens. Weaver supported this idea, saying, "I think it would be great to go back because I'm asked that question so many times. Where did the alien come from? People really want to know in a very visceral way." David Giller said that he, Walter Hill, and Gordon Carroll, the producers of the first 4 films in the series, would not be willing to produce another unless it was about the aliens' homeworld. And Weaver was on board, despite the fact that they were among the producers of the Alien vs. Predator films. Weaver has indicated that she would only return to the franchise if either Scott or James Cameron were to direct. Cameron had been working on a story for a 5th film, Alien, which would explore the origins of the creatures, but ceased work on it when he learned that Fox was pursuing Alien vs. Predator, which he felt would kill the validity of the franchise. In July 2009, 20th Century Fox announced that John Spalitz had been hired to write a prequel to Alien, with Scott attached to direct. The script was subsequently reworked by Scott and Damon Lindelof, titled Prometheus. It went into production in May 2011 and was released the following year. Scott said in a statement, "While Aliens was the indeed jump-off point for this project, out of the creative process evolved a new grand mythology and universe in which this original story takes place. The keen fan will recognize strands of Aliens' DNA, so to speak, but the ideas tackled in this film are unique, large, and provocative." Variety reported on February 18, 2015, that a new Alien film would be developed by Neil Blomkamp. On February 25th, it was confirmed that Sigourney Weaver would have a role in the film, the intent being to produce a direct sequel to Aliens, ignoring the events of later films featuring the characters of Hicks and Newt. Blomkamp's sequel was ultimately shelved by Fox in favor of Alien Covenant. a continuation of Scott's prequel, Prometheus. An eventual fifth Alien film, Interquel, Alien Romulus, set between the events of Alien and Aliens, was released in 2024, directed by Fede Alvarez. A television series titled Alien Earth, developed by Noah Hawley, is set to release on streaming on Hulu in summer of 2025. Several computer games based on the film were released, but not until several years after its theatrical run. This franchise is huge, people. And regardless of the people involved and the new people acquainted, it's bigger than any of them could imagine. And I guess it comes down to the unknown, space, the creatures, the origins, and what they've managed to produce when they've revealed themselves. When I thought about talking about this film for nerds, it was a no-brainer because everything that they managed to do with this franchise have left the audiences craving and wanting more. But I have to admit that film Prometheus was something, man. That story, and you talk about the engineers and how they started or ignited certain aspects of creation and life. All I can do is say, wow. Just amazing stuff. Amazing stuff, man. I'm going to take a quick moment now to go back into the chat and see who we got in the building. Drew Titan was unavailable this evening. He didn't let me know what was going on. So that's why you guys didn't hear me pass the mic, because I don't know. The brother didn't tell me. So, but I'm here. We had already delayed this show 1 week, and I just said I want to come on and bring it to you because this franchise is awesome, man. It's one of those that you can go through any of the films and just enjoy them as a single movie, or the stories that were being told as some aspects of the stories were connected. Shogun 76 in the building. What's happening with you? Rod Neal is out there. Mr. Shelton, LDBC or nothing in the building. Eric Jordan is out there. What's happening? Salute to you. And let's see, Derek Gaines is back with us. Salute to you, Derek Gaines. And let's see who else we got going down here. Okay. Cinnamon Savage in the building saying, phenomenal film. That first chest burster scene was a perfect horror scene. Yeah, it was something, wasn't it? Shogun says, Aliens was my favorite. Eric Jordan says, nasty work, but genius. The director knew what he was doing with that scene. Yeah, with that creature bursting through old boy's chest. And everybody is like, oh, what the hell is that? And it's like, and the creature was screaming like a newborn baby. It's like, Derek Gaines says, face huggers. Yeah, man. Young Hollywood was good. A condo. Yeah. Cinnamon Savage says, Prometheus is my favorite, tied with the original. Yeah. Shogun says, I remember the first time I watched this movie. Mm-hmm. Derek Gaines says, Alien Earth is going to be great. We'll see. He said, I was too scared to go downstairs and use the bathroom. Cinnamon Savage says, Ash revealed as an android was shocking on the first watch. Yeah, man, it was, right? That's just like in Prometheus when they had Michael Fassbender and you find out that he's the same. It's like, oh man, they're channeling elements of these films straight through, you know, the franchise. Amazing stuff. Cinnamon Savage says, I love Aliens, but I despise Part 3 and Resurrection. Mm-hmm. Cinnamon Savage says, I would love to see a film expand on the lore of the engineers. Unfortunately, the core Alien fans weren't too fond of Prometheus. Shaking my head. I thought that Prometheus was pretty darn good, man. I thought it was pretty darn good. Lambros K is out there. What's going on with you, man? Salute to you. He says, I've seen Alien and Prometheus more times than I can count. Trivia, everything. Yeah, amazing films, man. Amazing. Eric Jordan says, Prometheus was a disappointing movie, and I really have high hopes that movie because the trailer was phenomenal. Why do you think the film was disappointing there, Eric Jordan? Write it in the chat. Let me see why did you think Prometheus was disappointing? I thought that Prometheus was awesome, man. And he said he didn't like it. He said it was disappointing. Accurate Marco of the South. What's good with you, bro? This image here, boy. What do you guys think about this image here? This thing, man. If it slobber on you, that slobber is like acid, man. It's acidic. It'll burn through everything. What the devil, man? Look at that creature, man. Yeah. What an ugly creature, though. The design was awesome, though. Eric, I was still waiting to see what you said why it was disappointing. Prometheus. I may go and watch Prometheus sometime this week. Such a great film. Derek Gaines says, Stormy, if you need a stand-in for Drew next time, I can step up if you like. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. I just didn't know he wasn't gonna show up this evening. Like I said, I didn't hear from him or anything. It was time to go live. He haven't texted me or anything, so I don't know what's going on. So I mean, I hope everything is okay, but that seems a little unusual. But I wanted to go ahead and, go live because we had already put this off, Yeah. But I'll do something a little bit different here this evening. Let me see here. I'll put a link there in the chat. If any of you like to come up and talk about this film a little bit, Still got a little time left in the show. But if you do click the link, you know what you got to do. You got to, put your camera on and all of that good stuff so we can see who you are. Make sure you know nobody out there with no funny business or nothing like that. Derek Gang said, I wouldn't eat spaghetti for a while after that first 80. I know, man. I know, right? Lambro says he also kept his dead wife embalmed displayed in his house. Crazy life story. Eric Jordan says that movie was just a little slow to get to the main plot of the film, but the ending I was looking for was second film because it did leave you on a cliffhanger. Yeah. But that thing was rather gross, man. Rather gross. Okay, Derek, I see you back there. Turn your camera on, bro, so I can take a peek at you to see. All right, okay. Bring you up here. Let me see here. Okay, I got you in there. How you doing, bro?
I'm all right, Stormybman. How you doing?
I'm all right, man. A little bit fatigued, but I'm doing pretty good. This film is a pretty darn good film, man. And we're talking about the original. The original Alien.
It's one of the best sci-fi horror movies. If, like you said, if not the first ever made. Uh, it, there are a lot of there are a lot of Easter eggs in the first one. You know,
Yeah,
they give clues that the ship wasn't from the planet. It was a derelict ship, which Ripley covered in Aliens. Man, that chest bursting scene that came
oh,
right after he was eating spaghetti.
yeah.
For a while, I wouldn't eat spaghetti. I was only I was I was only 10 years old when I saw the movie. For a
Yeah,
while, I wouldn't eat spaghetti, man.
yeah,
Um,
man. It was
if you
rough, right?
notice, if you oh man, that scene, I think they watered down the chest bursting scenes until um Romulus, Alien
Yeah,
Romulus, because the one that chest bursting scene was graphic and it was bloody, it was captivating. And then the one chest bursting scene that they show in Alien, it was quick and over with. I mean, Aliens, when the
yeah,
Marines went down into I guess, the hive,
yeah.
it was quick and it was over with. And then Alien versus Predator, we could have did without it. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't. I watched them. Um, it just didn't. It was corny. I'm just gonna say it. It was corny. There was some aspects of the movie that didn't make no sense. Um, that's you throw the name Alien or Predator on anything, people go watch it because it's the name.
Right, right.
So I I didn't particularly care for it. But they got me back with I didn't like Alien 3 when they were on the prison world. I did
Hmm.
like to see Charles S. Dutton acting again. I always enjoy seeing him.
Yeah.
I didn't particularly care for that one. It was different. I will say that it was different. And Alien Resurrection, oh man, that scientist that they had Cocoon who was doing the talking at the end. He is this. I don't know his name, but he plays the same creepy character. The first time I saw him was in Child's Play. He played Charles Lee Ray.
Right, right,
He played
right.
a couple episodes in Star Trek and a couple episodes in Star Trek Voyager, and he always plays the same creepy character. Um, it was different to see that. I think that's the first time we saw a different alien, a hybrid, which opened the door. If you look at it, which opened the door to Prometheus,
Hmm.
because the after they got infected, it's different how they got infected. They got infected by spores,
Yeah.
and after they got infected, um, didn't really have chest bursters. It came out of their back, so that was
Well,
different. And
Michael
then
Michael Fassbender played an android type character in there, and and
yeah,
he was
yeah, he did.
he was going around spreading that stuff in a different way. Remember, it was like
Yes,
even when he put his finger in there and put his finger in the thing, and they old boy drank out of that cup. Remember, and that's how he
yeah,
got it, and old girl got it. Man, it's like, but Fassbender, he was a lot like that dude in this film, the first guy, but that they found out was a android. But I liked like I know that the brother Eric, he said he didn't like, it was too long with the engineers and everything, but I kind of liked it because they gave you like a blueprint. Hold on a second. This is Drew calling me. Give me 1 second. Just hold on.
Yes, sir.
Give me 1 second, Derek. You can still talk to the chat because you're on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, okay,
Tell
okay.
them your thoughts about the movie. I'll be right with you.
Well, Eric said he didn't like Prometheus. It was some. It's. I wanted to see more of the engineers. I wanted to see. I just wanted to see more about them. We got the creation of the aliens, or the black goo. There were still questions unanswered. Why did the engineers want to destroy humanity? It's just I didn't particularly care for that part. I did like the ending where the engineer had to fight that giant face hugger and end up losing, and then through that the deacon came out, and that was supposed to have been the first one, deacon, but I don't know. I don't know. But
Yeah.
Alien, the original Alien, you didn't know what was gonna happen.
No, that's what
And
I said, because and forgive me, that was Drew. He called me. He told me that he had an accident today. So
oh man,
yeah, but he's okay. But I told him I'll call him, when we finish up the show. But he's okay. He's just, a little shaken up. But he's okay. I'll check with him as soon as the show is finished. So
all right,
I send your
cool.
positive prayers and thoughts to our brother for this evening. Yeah. But what I wanted to
The
say, hmm?
no, go ahead.
But no, what
I
I
was
was
just
going to
gonna
say,
say,
because let me just get this off real quick. What I wanted to say before the call came in, I wanted to say that uh, the whole idea about the engineers in Prometheus, I know it was kind of talky, like like uh like Derek had, I mean, like Eric had suggested, it was a little stretchy and talky in some parts, but I think they did that on purpose because they were giving you a blueprint of the story, but they didn't want to tell you everything. They were kind of leaving it to your imagination. In other words, as you were being introduced to something, as you're watching it, it give you time to think about what you're seeing. Like, you remember the scene when the engineers were standing on the shores of the bank, and when dude opened that vial and he drank the
on
stuff.
yeah, Yeah, that
And
was
then
in the beginning of the movie.
yeah, and then he fell down on his knees and he just kind of like fell into the sea and he just dissolved into the dude. Do you know how heavy that is? That concept. Because basically life is being born of these engineers, including whatever that was he was drinking to mix with it, the DNA, everything. That was like really when you use the term engineer, it's like this is exactly what they were doing.
And you
You know what I'm
noticed
saying?
the guy, the engineer that they used was in prime physical condition.
Yeah, they were built like
So
Adonises. You know what I'm saying? It was
yeah,
like that was like a perfectly sculpted humanoid. You know what I mean? Uh-oh, you fell off. Pop back on, bro. We can continue this conversation. But yeah, yeah, but man, the film, I thought it was pretty good. And you always had this curiosity about where these things come from, you know? But that whole thing about the alien creature and that fluid that comes from it is acidic. That is like that's an amazing concept within itself. What do you guys think about that, chat? When you see that those creatures, if you puncture them or whatever, the stuff that shoots out is acidic. It's not like blood, it's not like liquid or what, it's acid, you know? So it could kill whatever it gets on. It's like that's man, that's a heck of a concept. I don't know about you guys, but to me, that's a total head trip. And Derek, I hope you okay. You fell off there, man. You could come on back on if you want, you know. I'll put that link back in the chat because I know sometimes I wasn't able to pin it. I'll put the link right back there. Isaiah GQ, what's happening with you, bro? Yeah, there you go. I see you.
I was outside and I got caught in a thunderstorm.
Oh, okay, it's storming out there by you too. I've been hearing people
Yes,
talk
sir.
in different places. I think I heard 78 talking about a storm. I'm hearing you talking about it. I heard somebody else talk about it. It's like there's no storms around me though here in the Shy. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's been teasing thunderstorm all day, and I decided to take out the garbage. And while I was out there, I got comfortable. It felt good. And then all of a sudden, the rain started coming down.
Okay.
But I think here's my opinion. I think if I follow Prometheus, the engineers developed. I don't know why she turned that light off. Oh man, my daughter. Oh, then I'm in the dark now, so I'm
Okay.
moving through the house. Um, the engineers created humans for the alien because the alien, you mentioned all the shapes they take. You know, if you look at them, they look like biomechanical. They do have a lot of reptilian features. They are amphibious. In Alien 2, they were swimming. Alien 3, no, Alien Resurrection, they were swimming. So they are amphibious. And I think what the engineers made it to kill off humanity, like they said in Prometheus. But like Idris Elba character said, it got out and and it took them out.
Yeah.
The original one, if you remember the tagline on the poster, it said, "In space, no one can hear you scream."
Right.
I remember everything about that movie, everything. And I knew the scientist. I think his name was Ash. I knew he was shady, but I didn't know he was an android. Because when they knocked his head off, that scared me.
Yeah,
That
man.
scared me. They knocked his head off. It was. If you haven't seen Alien and you're thinking about watching the other ones, stick with the original storylines. Aliens, Alien 3,
Right.
Alien Resurrection. Um, and if you watch Prometheus first, that set the tone. That's the prequel. So watch Prometheus, and after you watch, I know it gets kind of confusing. After you watch the first Alien, watch Romulus, because
Okay.
Romulus picks up right after Alien.
Hmm. Yeah.
And Romulus was a good movie. Only thing I can say, moving forward, I want more blood. I don't want I don't want a bunch of gore. Not a bunch of gore. I want more chest busters. I want more. I just want more because they teased only one. You only needed one to take out a whole crew. And
But
then in
let me ask
Alien,
you this though: your thoughts on the fact that, and I talked about this briefly when you have dropped off, the alien creatures that
uh-huh.
liquid that comes from their body is acidic. Your thoughts about that? Because I mean, it's easy to
like
like make
like
them
Ash
bleed,
said,
right? It's easy to
like
make them bleed or something like that. But
uh-huh.
the fact that they can spew acid out of their bodies, which is basically corrosive to anything external, metal,
Right.
flesh, wood, earth, whatever. So it's like
Whatever.
that's the ultimate kill factor for a beast, wouldn't you say? It's like that's hella crazy, man. Your thoughts about that?
Like Ash said, I have to turn on the camera because I'm moving through the house.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Like
fine.
Ash said, it's the perfect organism. It can survive in any climate. Um, in Alien 3, when they were on the prison world, they soaked it in molten lead and it got out. Um, in Alien, she ejected it into outer space and it survived. That's
Yeah,
how we got Alien Romulus. It is the perfect organism. They created that black goo affects everything. If you remember in Prometheus, they infected the worms,
right.
and it's with Alien Earth, I think it's gonna open up a whole nother avenue of what that um black goo can do. But here's the thing: this was always puzzled me. How did they know it was there in the beginning? how did they know?
How did who know?
How did the company know that that spaceship was there in the beginning?
Well, remember they received a distress signal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
But it turned
remember,
out that it
Ash
wasn't a
said,
distress signal. It turned out that it wasn't a distress signal. It was an alien signal of a warning. Remember, because Ripley, she got a partial message, but
yeah,
it didn't come back as a distress. It came back as a warning.
thank you,
You know.
Tatum.
So basically,
Yeah.
that alien was on that ship in the first movie when they went to investigate that mummified alien that had a hole in its
Mm-hmm.
chest. It probably put that beacon out to whomever he or wherever he came from and was trying to warn them, hey, I'm dealing with something out here, but he died. And so they came across him, you know.
Okay, here's the thing though, Stormy. Ash and Ripley got into it over the whole message.
Right.
Ripley didn't get access to Mother until uh, the captain died.
Right.
So the company ordered them to set down on that planet.
Well, see, this is the thing. Old boy who was an android is the one that communicated back to the company. That's what's
Yes.
inferred. That's what's inferred. And see, that's how the company was like, bring that subject back. So for study, and
Yes.
even at the cost of the crew, just make sure you get it back here.
Crew was expendable.
Yes.
That's what it said. So my original question still stands. I know they locked in on the beacon. Why did the company order them to bring back the specimen? Crew is expendable. That makes me think they knew it was there all along.
Maybe there'll be some kind of revelation that the company, that's Wayland, right? The company.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe they have been in touch with higher beings, because this is the part that's science fiction, science reality. Um,
Yes.
we have beings of a higher authority that our historians and our governments and everything don't want to truly reveal to us. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And it's kind of similar. That's why they say art imitates life and life is imitating art. Um,
Hmm.
when you talk about going back through the Egyptian cave, I don't want to say caves, but inside their writings and everything, they depict beings coming from the sky and being
Yes, they do.
tall, being
The
tall
higher.
and having hybrid heads like a dog or a cat or some kind of beast and body like a man. It's like, and they didn't make that for no reason. That was just not an artist putting stuff together. That was kind of a form
Hmm.
of writing down history. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm. Well, I know. Now I'm not a theologian. I'm a novice when it comes to history, but I read about the Anunnaki. They believe some cultures believe they were from other worlds. I know the hieroglyphs which you mentioned do protect that picture that, and also shows them holding purses.
Yeah.
And it's crazy when you look at these hieroglyphics, how, they're all similar.
Yeah.
You got pyramids all over the world, not just in Egypt, not
And
just in
now
Egypt.
because
They're
the
all
Arctic is
over the
melting,
world.
now that because the Arctic is melting the way it is and everything, they've discovered them over there in the Arctic too. Pyramids in the
Yeah,
Arctic.
I heard they found some ancient diseases up there. I said they better leave that stuff alone. It's buried for a reason.
I heard that there is more of the Earth beyond the ice cap.
I've been hearing that all my life, especially in Antarctica, that there's a whole nother place underneath the ice.
Yeah, but not even
Cause they
underneath, just under the ice, over the ice wall. Because when they draw our map, right?
right,
There's supposed to be a ring around the circumference of the Earth that's like a rubber band. It's an ice cap.
right.
There's supposedly more of the Earth beyond the ice cap.
I
It's
believe
like,
that.
huh? More continents. Like what we know is very small. And I'm gonna tell you something. There's got to be truth to it. You know how you know it's the easiest truth?
What's that, sir?
How we navigate. You cannot fly a plane straight from one edge of the earth to the other.
No,
There
you
are
can't.
there are no fly zones. And why do you think there are no fly zones? It don't have nothing to do with flying over an enemy country or nothing like that. It's to keep you away from the truth.
The same way you can't navigate when you're on a boat. You can only go certain areas. I've
Right.
read that.
Yeah.
They say it's too dangerous to go there. Like what's that area? Um Around South Africa, the waters get real choppy, and they say ships don't fare well there. That's what they say.
Did you
But
hear
there,
that now because we have satellite, right? That
uh,
there are places like in between, I want to say between Russia and Africa or something like that, that from satellite photographs that they have taken images of the ocean floor, and that there are giant footprints in the ocean floor. Have you heard about that?
I've seen the pictures of the giant footprints on land, but not on the ocean floor. And when
That,
I think about what possibly could have made them, I think about the Nephilim. Because
right,
if you study the Bible, Goliath was a Nephilim, and he was the smallest one of them all. His brothers were taller than him.
right. So if you had someone that was able to walk across the oh my goodness, that's just an amazing thought within itself, right? To be able to do
Well,
that
you got
because
if you you
the
you
footprints
got to
are
go
there
back
though.
where all the continents, excuse me, where all the continents were together, and what was that, Pan-Eurasia or something? So it's quite possible.
Yeah,
It is quite possible that that land where the footprints were marshland, dried out, and then covered over with water. Because according to what I've read, the Sahara Desert used to be underwater.
yeah.
So
And there are parts of civilization that are now underwater. And
yes,
you attribute that to the Great Flood. You know what I mean? And the
yes,
things and funny things about that is that even in having that, we have, like we talked about the mummified alien creature with the hole in his chest in the first film, and also he depicted in Prometheus, we have mummified landscapes that look like animals. Do you understand what I'm
Yes, we
talking
do.
about?
Yeah.
We got some that
Yeah.
look like elephants, some that look like lions, some that look like other types of large four-legged creatures or whatever. And it's like they look like land masses, rocks with
You
vegetation
know that
and everything. But that stuff is real, man, because when you look at it and you say, man, that looks like a elephant.
yes,
And it's giant.
I've seen it. I've seen them. You know that place where they filmed Close Encounters of the Third Kind when the aliens came down on the
Yeah,
on I forget what that place is called, but it looks like a petrified tree trunk.
right. And
You
if those
can't
tree
tell me
trunks,
that's a rock formation.
yeah, and that's what also I was going to mention that, and I'm glad that you touched on it, because I was going to say that there are huge land masses that look like tree trunks, trees that have been cut down. And guess what? If they were cut down, it would have had to been the Nephilim to cut them down. Yeah. Oh, brother fell off again. Hmm. Man, I'm gonna have to revisit some of this subject content that we're speaking on. This is crazy, but I'm gonna get ready to wrap it up, you guys. Oh, here he is. There you go.
Sorry about that. I was still moving around the house. I had to do some laundry.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. We were talking about the petrified tree.
Yeah, and I was saying, like, if those trees were that large, only one thing could have cut them down, and that was the Nephilim.
Yes, yes. There is more than one of that formation. There's more than one. You can't. You know, I'm from the old school, Stormy. If it looks like a duck, quacks, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And when I see that rock, allegedly rock formation, I mean, that looks like a big old redwood. Something.
Then
It's huge.
there are also rock formations and cliffs that look like giant men. The
Yes.
profile of a man's face, his head, when you're looking at it from the side, it looks like a man's nose, his lips, and his forehead, and it's all a part of a wall of rock, but it's been petrified. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
dude, that stuff is real. Did you see the one that looks like a woman where she's laying on the ground or something?
No, I've seen the statue, the Pillar of Salt. I've seen that one that spoke about in the book of Genesis, where Lot's wife got turned into a pillar of salt. I've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I seen a picture of it. I didn't actually see it in person, but I didn't see the one what you mentioned, but it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me. There are things about this world we live in that is will never be explained. It just science can't explain everything. They try, they really try, but it really just can't explain everything. And to bring it back to Alien, that's what they were trying to do. I think where Ash was dissecting the face hugger, he was trying to figure out what is it made of. He found some things that it was made of, but he was trying to figure out how did it get here, how was it made, where did it come from, who made it, and like Ripley said in Alien Two, he said there were thousands of eggs down there. Who's laying them eggs? So to go back what you said about the mummified engineer in the seat, I think a queen came out of him because the queen is um, is already born pregnant, so she doesn't need a mate. She just started producing, started laying eggs.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the alien universe, it never talks about a queen and a drone like a bee. And I've seen books and shorts of it talking about it, but I haven't. They haven't done it in the movies yet, so I don't think they're going to do it. I don't know. They talk about an alien homeworld with a red queen who rules it all. I mean, I don't know. That's in the comics. I haven't even touched the comics because I don't want to spoil my experience in the movies.
Right.
So I still say the company has something to do with it, one way or the other. In every alien movie, the company, Wayland Industries, was there. In the first one, in the second one, in the third one, in the fourth one, and in Alien Romulus. Wayland Industries was there. And I think for some reason, like you said, they may have been in contact with another race. But my pushback on that is the engineers didn't like the humans, so they wanted to destroy us. So why would they talk to us? I just don't know. There are a lot of mysteries uh, that are still unexplained. There are just like, okay, if you watch it without thinking, like, all right, it's a good movie. But when you go back and rewatch it, and like you, Stormy, I try to watch all the Blu-ray, deleted scenes and everything. Um, like in the first Alien, what's his name? The captain. Ripley finds the captain Cocoon, and he tells Ripley that you gotta get out of here, and you gotta kill the beast or whatever. But yeah, in the deleted scenes, some of the deleted scenes in the first one, Ripley finds the captain Cocoon. So that tells me that the alien was preparing for the queen, for the face huggers, because that's all they did. When did you see an alien eat? You didn't see an alien eat until Alien 3, when he was eating he was eating one of the inmates. Of course, I would assume they eat, but I just it's just so much stuff out there, and I know Alien Earth is taking a different turn. I don't think they're really gonna cover the origins of the aliens. I think that's a whole separate storyline.
Yeah.
You there, Stormy?
Yeah, I'm here, bro. I'm here. I'm listening.
Oh yeah, man. I love movies, man. I watch movies all the time, man, and I try to get all the information. Like when me and Ack was doing Comic Cons, I wonder what happened to my brother. I've been trying to get a hold of him, but something wrong with his phone. I hit the Batcave and I do my research. This is on the cuff because I watch Aliens every day. I really do. I watched it earlier today. It's just one of those movies you could watch over and over and over and see something you didn't see before. My keys.
Yeah. But I'm gonna get ready to wrap it up, bro. And I appreciate you, Derek, coming on here with me, man, and chopping it up. I'm gonna
Oh
have to
man,
have Mike.
anytime,
Yeah,
anytime,
back,
Stormy
brother.
V man,
Yeah.
anytime, bro. I just throw me a Hail Mary and I catch it.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure. This is my first time on the panel with you.
Mhm.
It's been an enjoyment. I've always talked you up when we talk kung fu movies over on X
Yeah.
channel, and then I'll be like, man, I was Stone B Man was here. I can't say these names. I'm like that guy, that the guy right there. I don't know his name, but it's always been a pleasure watching you, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be on the panel with you. Thank you so much.
No problem, man. And speaking of the Kung Fu, my Kung Fu channel is doing very well, man. Over 10,000 views now. And it's only been up
That's what's
3
up.
weeks. Only been up 3 weeks, man. And it's doing very well. New content uploading tomorrow. No, Wednesday. Some new videos uploading. I finished off one today that I'm gonna probably premiere a little later in the week for that channel only. So I'm working, man. I'm working. I'm all around this channel, that channel, with Patreon. I'm trying to get going. It's like I do what I can. You know what I'm saying?
You the
Do what I
man. Have you real quick? Have you looked into the Disney show Ironheart?
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I started watching the first episode one day last
Hmm.
week when they first released the first three, and I didn't get through all of it, and I haven't gone back yet. But I intend to watch it though. I'm hearing
They
not so
are
good news about it.
they are review bombing it.
Yeah,
Some say it's bad. Now all the lighter skinned people say it's horrible, and some of the darker skinned people are saying it's one of the best shows that Marvel put out. I don't know. I haven't watched it yet. I was just asking your opinion.
yeah, yeah. But I'm gonna be checking it out. But yeah,
Yes,
I'm gonna get
sir.
ready. I gotta wrap this up, man, so I can get
Yes,
ready to
sir.
crash in. But thank you for joining me and helping me through the show here. And like I said, I'll have you back, man. I'll shoot you a link, and you can pop on and chop it up with us, especially on this show here, because this is one of those shows where we can just talk about everything from A to Z when we talk about these things that are part of our culture. You know what I mean? Movies, books,
Hmm.
music, all of that stuff. That's what this show is all about, man. So I really appreciate you coming in with me this evening.
No problem, sir. Thank you.
All right, you take it
I
easy.
enjoyed it. Yes, sir.
All right,
You
peace
too.
to you. Okay.
Peace.
Yeah, so we're about to wrap this up, you guys. I thank everybody that tuned in. Before we head out, gotta hear a word from the sponsor, huh? And the sponsor is my man, the Focus Ball. Yeah.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the Focus Ball. Dramatically improved footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a Focus Ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a Focus Ball. When you train with the Focus Ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the Focus Ball now.
Yeah. And so we come to the end of another Nerds. This was number 125. We talked about the original Alien from 1979. I appreciate everybody that came out to rock with us for this show. And thank you so much to the brother Derek Gaines, who popped in and was able to bring a little bit of conversation to it as well. Thank you so much for your efforts, brother. And don't forget to share the show. That's a great part of the success, is when you guys share the content and hit that like button. But we're going to get ready to get on up out of here. I want to say shout out to the mighty LDBC. And we will catch you guys next week for another Nerds. Peace to everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week.